What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 2 a.m. in Sweden. I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes at AO Shifty. It's been far too long since we've been on the show, so I can assure you this is the last time we'll have these inconsistencies. I've been traveling, doing so many different things, but we're back. That's what matters the most. We will be able to give you everything going forward. Steven and I should be on the show Tuesday. I'll try to pump out some more content during the week, especially to make up for the different weeks that we weren't able to end up producing different things for the NFL weeks. We have still been keeping track of each week. We will give you updates on the NBA stats that we've been doing. So, as always, I appreciate everyone that's been tuning in. This is going to be a little bit quicker. I want to touch on some of the fantasy football side of things because I know this is the championship week for some. So congratulations if you are in the championship week. Make sure to focus on your players every single day that they play. Games are on Thursday. I can admit I messed up. I put Chris Rodriguez in the lineup thinking he was going to play. He was sick, so he did not end up playing, which did end up messing me up. Thankfully, the other person had Justin Jefferson and Jameson Williams, so they only got 6.7 points. It's in a Yahoo Fantasy Football League, but that blew because you think that you're going to win, and then that ends up happening. So you have that on that side of the fence. And then, of course, today we do have two games. We have the Texans and the Chargers. So there are players to be played in that game. Woody Marks, of course. You have Nico Collins on one side, the Texans defense, if you feeling a little frisky and want to end up doing that. And then on the other side, you do have the Chargers. So some people might be playing Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey. You might be playing the tight end, Gadsden. You might be playing Omarion Hampton. You might end up throw out there Keenan Allen and then even Justin Herbert on that side of the ball. Then looking at the Ravens and Packers game, you do have pieces. Again, you have Derrick Henry. They have been saying they want to get Derrick Henry more involved in the offense. Tyler Huntley is playing from what it sounds like, which does suck a little bit. It's going to be a battle of the backups, and Lamar Jackson's not doing as well. If the Ravens lose this one, they're not going to play Lamar Jackson week 18. There's going to be nothing for them to play for. You can play Zay Flowers. He is a closer check down receiver for Tyler Huntley. You also have Mark Andrews that's out there too. Looking at the Packers side of the ball, Jordan Love is not playing. That means Malik Willis. So the main ones you're going to focus on are going to be Josh Jacobs, maybe tight ends that are in there if you want to throw some streamer tight ends. And then Packers defense isn't in the best of shape right now. Packers defense can be solid, give you some points if you want to do that. They are playing a backup quarterback, so you can throw the Packers defense out there. But diving into a lot of things, just doing a recap, and then we will go into the games that are coming up on Sunday. So we had the Cowboys and Commanders. Steven and I both went with the Cowboys. Lions and Vikings. I went with the Lions. Steve went with the Vikings. The Vikings end up winning that one, and which was crazy when you end up looking at everything. They only had 51 yards passing from the quarterback, and it turned out to not even be that many passing yards. If we really look at it, well, first off, the Texans are winning when we end up getting to that one. Crazy enough. When you look at it, Max Brosmer only had 51 yards passing, and they had a net of 3 yards because there were sacks on the play too. So the rushing yards did it. You had Jordan Addison with one carry for 65 yards. Then you had Aaron Jones that had 18 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. That's 14 points right there. And then you look at the defense. Well, if you look at the field goals, there were 3 field goals. So there's your 9 points after 14. That's your 23 points right there. And then I don't know what happened to them. Jared Goff had 2 interceptions. That does it right there. Jared Goff had 3 fumbles. That's another one that'll kill it for you. Jahmyr Gibbs had 1 fumble. It's a surprising game. Different things you look at. Number one, is David Montgomery going to be there next year? At the rate this is going, he would probably prefer to be in a different system, whereas Jahmyr Gibbs, and you've seen it. So it started off probably like 3 years ago. Let me check to make sure I'm saying all this correctly before I provide anyone with wrong information. But it was Jahmyr Gibbs came out in 2023. So this is his 3rd year in the league. Yeah. 2023, it was David Montgomery as the lead back, and then Jahmyr Gibbs was the backup. 2024, it became a timeshare. It was 50-50. You could play them both and you were fine. 2025, it became the Jahmyr Gibbs show. and David Montgomery took a backseat on it. So next year, you can foresee in that fourth year, Jahmyr Gibbs being the premier back again, and David Montgomery might say, "Let me get another job or another gig somewhere else," because he is. I will say it. He's a starting running back. I don't think he needs to be playing just backup in this system. He can go somewhere else, get paid. But again, what are they going to do with him? Are they going to trade him? Are they going to just cut him? What's going to happen to allow him to do that? Are they going to force him to just be in this system? So that was the main one on that side of the field. Going into the Broncos Chiefs, that's not really anything we need to talk about because Chiefs didn't have any pieces really. You had Travis Kelce, that probably was his last game that he was going to be playing in for them. I already talked about the Cowboys in the Commanders game. So going into the games today, Texans Chargers. I had the Chargers because the Chargers need to win out in order to end up getting the AFC West championship, which nobody expected it to be this year that this was going to happen. You have no Chiefs in it, no Ravens more than likely in it, no Lions in it. I don't know. Steven did choose the Texans. Ravens, Packers. Jordan Love is not playing, so I'm going with the Ravens in that one. Steven is going with the Packers. Going to the next one, Cards, Bengals. We both have the Bengals. That should be a more easier game to choose. It should be a high-scoring game. The over-under in this game is 53.5, which I agree with. Bengals defense is some shit. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Next one we have is Steelers and the Browns. We both have the Steelers in that one. Your boy is going for the record, though. Myles Garrett. So pay attention to that. For him to get the record on Aaron Rodgers would be something. Do I think he'll get it? Absolutely. Myles Garrett is just a different beast right now. The Steelers are going to probably do whatever it takes to make sure that Aaron Rodgers is not the sack record, the sack that breaks the record. Next one we have Saints, Titans. I'm going with the Saints. Steven's going with the Titans. Think that Saints defense is pretty good. If you had them in fantasy football as well last week, congrats. And I think that you can do it again this week. Jags, Colts, we're both going with the Jags, but fuck the Jags still. The Colts have a 44-year-old quarterback. I know Phillip Rivers was good in his prime, but he's 44 years old, and it's the Colts right now. So I'm going with the Jags in that one. If the Texans win, I do want to just say this to let everyone know. The Texans win this week and the Jags win, it goes into an interesting week 18 for a couple of reasons, because the Colts and Texans play. Colts probably will be kicked out of it. It sucks because it's then on the other side. It's the Texans. I mean, so just going back, Jags are 11-4, Texans are 10-5. The Jags will then go to 12-4. More than likely, they're going to end up winning against the Colts. But this is a game. So the Jags, if they won, they'll go to 12-4. Texans, if they win, they'll go to 11-5. Then you have these last games against the Titans and the Colts. The Colts will be eliminated at that point. And then you'll have the Colts and the Texans playing. I don't know how much the Colts will play for. Phillip Rivers will play because, I mean, he's not. How many times are you going to be able to do this? The Jags will play the Titans. And that's the game of the Jags. As much as it sucks, they will still be able to, I don't know, they should walk right over the Titans in that one. So that's that side of the house. Let me see. So the Jags have their division essentially locked up. It's a 67% chance. The Texans have a 32% chance. But what needs to end up happening is they just have to lose. That's the big thing. I'm trying to get the correct information, but that's the main thing just to pay attention to. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time, but essentially if they lose, then that's really the big thing that plays a factor in it. AFC South playoff implications. So just okay. So the Jags can clinch the division with the win in Week 17 and the Texans loss, or by winning their final two games against the Colts and the Titans. The Texans can clinch the division by winning out and having the Jaguars lose at least one of their final games. A 5-1 division record, winning both of the games against Colts and Titans, would secure the title. Would secure the title over Jacksonville, even if both teams finish with the same overall record. If the Jaguars lose one of their final two games and the Texans win both, Houston can claim division based on superior divisional record. So again, like I was saying, it really just depends on this. The more likely game for them to lose is going to be this game for the Jags. I don't think they're going to lose against the Titans. So again, they're probably hoping, if you can lose this one, then that Texans game is really for all the marbles. The Texans against the Colts. But we'll see how that one ends up playing out. The next game that we do have on the docket is Bucks versus Dolphins. We both have the Bucks in that one. After that, we have the Pats and the Jets. We both have the Pats now, and Jets just need to get the season over with at this point. Seahawks and the Panthers. We both have the Seahawks. Panthers are doing good. I personally just do not think that they're that good. And what I mean by that is we'll break down the playoff picture. I don't know if it'll show it this way. No. It's more of there's certain years where you're playing for a battle of what's the best way for you to get farther in the playoffs. And right now, when you end up looking at it, Panthers are the 4 seed. So they would be playing the 49ers. I promise you want to play the Panthers. Panthers are a good one to end up playing. Me personally, I want to play the Bears as well. I do not want to play the Seahawks. I don't want to play the Eagles. I'm really not looking forward to playing any of these three between the 49ers, Rams, and the Packers. The Panthers are playing the 49ers. 49ers are about to wax that ass, and I'm going to put everything on it. I throw stupid money at it. 49ers will win that one. Then the Rams and Eagles battle of last year again. That's going to be a good one to just see how it ends up happening. I've told people since day one, the way that the Eagles can be torched is going to be having two good receivers. Look at what the Cowboys did. And then we just saw the same situation. Yes, granted, the Eagles took care of business, but Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, if you have both of them, they're going to go to work on the Eagles' corners. They're just younger, and they haven't been as tested yet. So then after that, you would have the Packers and the Bears. The Bears want to prove it, stick it to the Packers, NFC North division rivals, but Packers would smell blood at that point. Jordan Love would be healthy for that game. You're going to have it in Chicago. Weather doesn't really matter at that point because they're both cold as shit places. But I would definitely see that the Packers probably would end up taking that one. And then you have the Seahawks, which would end up playing the 4-5 matchup. The Seahawks would then play the 49ers at that point. But again, the one that you need to end up paying attention to is going to be, it looks like the Bears should end up having it. The only way that the Bears can mess this whole situation up, if they lose 2. Because if they lose 2, they would drop to 11-6. They lose 1, they would be 12-5. Packers can't do that because they would have less wins at that point. So that's the other thing just to pay attention to on that side. Next game we have is the Giants and the Raiders. I have the Giants in this one. Steven has the Raiders. The big thing about this is they're both trying to put everybody up. They want the number 1 pick. So you've heard Max Crosby isn't going to play. Max Crosby's pissed at what they're doing. The Giants said, bet we can one-up you. We're just going to sit our whole offensive line, essentially. The Raiders are like, bet we're just going to put Brock Bowers on the IR. I don't know what you want to tell us at that point. Only people that are guaranteed right now is Jackson Dart and Geno Smith, and that's just to make it look like a decent game, so they're not just taking the game, but they're both taking the game. So after that, we have the Eagles and the Bills, which should be a good-ass game. We both have the Bills in that one. I just feel as though, again, Josh Allen might do one thing more than the Eagles. Of course, the Eagles have a good record against the Bills as of recent in Josh Allen, but I'm going with the Bills. Next one we have is the Bears and the 49ers. I have the 49ers. Steven's going with the Bears. Again, this is where it matters because the Bears last 2 games. So right now they play, clearly we know, the 49ers. But after the 49ers, they play the Lions. There's a world in which they can lose both of them. Their losses have come against the Vikings, the Lions, both teams in their division, the Ravens, solid team, and the Packers. There you go. So they've lost 1, 2, 3 games in their division. All the other games they've really done well with. So they have wins against the Browns, Steelers, Vikings, Giants, Bengals, Saints, Commanders, Raiders, Cowboys. What am I telling you with this? Their schedule isn't that good, but they also were not a great team last year. So you just play the teams that are on your schedule with the winning percentage of last year. Packers, good team. Eagles just were at a finicky point. That's really what I'm going to chalk that up to, because if you look at the Eagles schedule, Eagles definitely went on a losing streak. And they were just in a slump, couldn't really do anything about it. They lost 3 in a row. Cowboys, Bears, Chargers, all games they should have won, and they just came down to the end. Again, they did it before. They lost to the Broncos and Giants. So I'm not putting too much stock into it. This game for the Eagles, though, against the Bills is a really big game. It's at 4:25 on Fox for most people, but that's a game to pay attention to. They beat the Chiefs, they beat the Rams, beat the Bucks. So they started off 4 wins, lost 2, 4 wins, lost 3. Are you going to finish this out? I think you really need to finish this out with 4 wins, and then you can go into the playoffs riding hot. But if you lose that Bills game, that's going to be a rough one. Final game is the Rams-Falcons. We both got the Rams in that one. That's probably a gimme game that they should win, Rams, and then you'll be fine on your side of the town. Looking at that, if the Rams end up winning this game, let's see what this ends up showing me. If the Rams win this game, they'll move to 12-4. The Seahawks and the Rams, that's something to pay attention to, because you're going to have the Seahawks, Rams, 49ers in the playoffs. Seahawks last 2 games are they play the Panthers and then they play the 49ers. That 49ers game is going to be for everything. Right now, you're sitting at 12-3. If you win that one, you're going to go to 13-3. And that last game against the 49ers, if they win it, they have the first round bye, which good for them. They would deserve it. If they lose it, though, that's when you're talking. That last game is going to be all right. So this is how it's going to play out. Rams have 2. And it's really going to be Rams have 2. They play the Falcons, Cardinals. They should win both of those. Cool. They'll move to 13-4. That's as good as they can finish with on their side. After that, so you have them finishing at 13-4. Seahawks, they're going to go to 13-3. Cool. So we have that. Understand that. The 49ers have to win their game against the Bears. You see why this is now big? Because if the 49ers win their game, they're 12-4. They're 13-3. We already said they're going to be 13-4 by the time they're done. So 13-4, 12-4, 12-3. It then comes down to, all right, what if the 49ers lose both of their games? Well, if the 49ers lose the second game, bam, Seahawks got it. So if the Seahawks win out, they have it. But the big one is, the Rams would need them both to lose a game, and then the Rams can slide up in there. You just do not want to have to play those 3. All 3 of them. It's going to be a West Coast. Someone from the West Coast is coming out. I don't think the Bears are doing it. Don't think the Eagles are doing it. Don't think the Panthers are doing it. So it's going to be the Seahawks, 49ers, Rams that are coming out of the East. I mean, of the NFC. I'm just going to call it like that. So that Rams-Falcons game, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks all have to win theirs, and I put money on it for this week. But that's really all I have. I appreciate it. We're going to dive into a lot on Tuesday. I'll talk about everything that's happened over the past couple of weeks. We'll dive into the college football side of things. But until that time, we out.